on a freezing November night in rural Maine. 28-year-old Ethan Vance stepped outside his secluded cabin to check the generator. He vanished, leaving behind only a burning cigarette. Ethan Vance was an investigative journalist known for uncovering small-town corruption. His sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through the quiet community of Blackwood, triggering an immediate and desperate search operation. Local Sheriff Marcus Reed led the investigation, arriving at the desolate cabin within hours. The snow around the porch remained fresh, showing no sign of any struggle or outgoing footstep. Inside Ethan's home, the television was still playing, a half-eaten meal rested on the dining table, and his personal cell phone sat quietly charging on the wooden counter. Deputies searched the surrounding woods with tracking dogs, but the hounds lost Ethan's scent completely at the edge of the porch steps, as if he had vanished into thin air. Ethan's sister, Clara Vance, arrived the following morning. Refusing to believe her brother merely walked away, she began combing through his private notes, desperate to find a single clue. Clara discovered a locked wooden box hidden underneath Ethan's floorboards. Inside lay an audio tape labeled with a single cryptic phrase, "Project Whisper, do not trust anyone." Playing the cassette revealed a recorded conversation between Ethan and an anonymous informant. The distorted voice warned Ethan that uncovering the town's buried history would prove fatal for him. The recording abruptly cut off with the sound of screeching tires and a heavy thud. Clara gasped as she realized Ethan had been recording an actual live abduction attempt. Determined to uncover the truth, Clara brought the cassette directly to Sheriff Reed. However, the sheriff appeared visibly uneasy when the name Project Whisper was mentioned in the recording. "Drop this, Clara," Sheriff Reed warned sternly. Ethan was getting paranoid. Some stone-cold cases are better left untouched before you end up missing too. Suspicious of the officer's reaction, Clara secretly searched Ethan's laptop backups. She found references to an abandoned limestone quarry located 5 miles deep inside Blackwood Forest. The quarry had been sealed off 30 years ago following a fatal accident. Yet Ethan's notes indicated recent power consumption records tied to an underground facility directly beneath it. Armed with a heavy flashlight and Ethan's map, Clara drove her pickup truck through a blinding blizzard toward the perimeter of the abandoned quarry, determined to find answers. She parked hidden behind dense trees and continued on foot. The howling wind covered her footsteps as she approached the heavy steel gate blocking the quarry's main tunnel entrance. To her shock, the heavy padlock securing the rusty iron gate had been recently cut with heavy bolt cutters, leaving fresh metal shavings glistening on the fresh snow. Pushing the heavy iron gate open, Clara stepped inside the dark, damp tunnel. The temperature dropped drastically, and the silence inside was broken only by dripping water nearby. As she walked deeper, Clara noticed fresh tire tracks imprinted in the damp mud floor. The tracks led toward a reinforced steel door equipped with an electronic keypad lock. Beside the keypad lay a discarded camera lens cap. Clara picked it up. It belonged to Ethan's custom camera kit, proving he had definitely been here before he vanished. Suddenly, loud, echoing footsteps resounded from the deep darkness behind her. Clara ducked behind a stack of rusted oil drums, holding her breath as a flashlight beam swept past. A dark figure carrying a tactical rifle walked past her hiding spot. On the man's jacket was an emblem matching the logo printed on Sheriff Reed's official police uniform. Realizing the local police department was directly involved in whatever secret operation was happening here, Clara waited until the guard moved away before approaching the reinforced door again. She noticed a 4-digit passcode scratched faintly into the paint near the keypad. 4819. The numbers matched the date Ethan's mother had tragically passed away. Clara entered the code. The heavy hydraulic door clicked open with a loud pneumatic hiss, revealing a brightly lit, state-of-the-art underground surveillance facility extending far into the rock. Monitors displayed live video feeds from hundreds of hidden cameras placed across the entire town of Blackwood, including inside private homes, local businesses, and even Ethan's remote cabin. Clara realized Blackwood wasn't just a quiet rural town, it was an illegal government surveillance testing ground, and Ethan had accidentally stumbled onto their massive master control network. Searching the central terminal, Clara accessed recent archive video footage, time-stamped the exact night Ethan disappeared from his cabin. Her heart pounded as the video began playing. The video feed showed Ethan walking outside his cabin. Suddenly, a black, unmarked van pulled up without headlights. Armed men wearing unmarked tactical gear ambushed him in total silence. Ethan fought back fiercely, knocking down one attacker before being injected with a sedative. They loaded his limp body into the van and drove off into the blizzard night. Clara plugged a USB flash drive into the terminal and began downloading the incriminating video files. The screen progress bar slowly ticked upward, 20%, 40%, 60%. Suddenly, an automated red alarm started flashing across the room. A blaring siren echoed through the underground facility as a voice declared, "Unauthorized access detected. Lockdown initiated." Clara ripped the USB drive out of the terminal just as heavy steel blast doors began sliding downward over all exit corridors, threatening to trap her inside forever. She slid beneath the descending steel door with seconds to spare, tumbling hard onto the cold stone floor of the outer tunnel, just as the door slammed shut. Heavy footsteps echoed down the tunnel from the main exit. Armed guards were closing in from the outside, blocking her only path back to her pickup truck. Desperate, Clara spotted an old wooden maintenance ladder leading straight upward through a narrow ventilation shaft built into the ceiling of the natural limestone cavern. She scrambled up the ladder as gunfire echoed below. Bullets ricocheted off the stone entrance of the shaft, sending sparks and stone fragments flying into the freezing air. Reaching the top, Clara kicked open a wooden hatch and emerged into the howling blizzard on the Forest Mountain ridge above the quarry, gasping for cold Arctic air. She ran blindly through the snowstorm, holding the precious USB drive tight inside her jacket pocket. Behind her, searchlights began sweeping the forest canopy in search of her. Exhausted and freezing, Clara reached the main highway 2 miles away. She flagged down a passing state police cruiser, praying the driver wasn't part of the corrupt local network. The driver was State Trooper Vance Miller, a distant relative of Ethan who worked in the state capitol. Recognizing Clara, he immediately pulled her into the warm vehicle. Clara handed him the USB drive and explained everything. Trooper Miller plugged the drive into his onboard laptop computer to inspect the encrypted evidence files Clara had stolen. "This is huge, Clara," Miller said gravely. "This goes far beyond local law enforcement. We need to take this straight to federal prosecutors in Portland immediately." They sped down the icy interstate toward Portland. But 3 miles outside town, a dark SUV pulled up alongside their cruiser and violently rammed their rear bumper. Trooper Miller fought to maintain control of the vehicle as the SUV rammed them again, forcing the police cruiser off the road into a steep snowbank. The cruiser crashed into a thick pine tree, airbags deploying instantly. Dazed and bleeding, Clara saw armed men exiting the black SUV and marching toward them. Trooper Miller drew his service pistol and kicked his door open, firing at the attackers to draw their attention away from Clara so she could escape into the woods. Clara crawled out the passenger side window and ran into the dense forest, holding her injured arm as gunshots echoed through the dark, freezing night behind her. She ran until her legs gave out, stumbling onto an isolated cabin hidden deep inside the state forest territory. A cabin that wasn't marked on any map. Limping toward the porch, Clara pushed the unlocked wooden door open and collapsed onto the floor inside, shivering violently from hypothermia and absolute sheer exhaustion. A shadowy figure stepped out from the cabin's dark inner hallway, holding a warm blanket. As the firelight illuminated the person's face, Clara gasped in disbelief. "Ethan?" Clara whispered through tears. Standing before her was her brother, alive, uninjured, but carrying a heavy expression of profound guilt and sorrow on his face. "You shouldn't have searched for me, Clara," Ethan said softly, wrapping the warm blanket around her trembling shoulders. "My disappearance was the only way to keep you safe." Ethan revealed that he hadn't been kidnapped by force. He had staged his own abduction with the help of rogue federal agents to disappear completely off the grid. Project Whisper wasn't created by the town, Ethan confessed. "I created the entire surveillance network 5 years ago when I worked as a military intelligence contractor." Ethan explained that the system was meant to catch dangerous criminals, but local corrupt officials had hijacked his software to monitor and control the unsuspecting citizens of Blackwood. When Ethan attempted to destroy his own creation, the shadowy organizers threatened to murder Clara unless he handed over total administrative master control of the entire network. "I fake kidnapped myself so they would think I was dead or captured," Ethan explained softly. "I needed time to build a master virus to wipe the system permanently." Clara pulled the stolen USB drive from her jacket pocket and handed it to Ethan. "I brought the central master encryption keys from the Quarry laboratory," she said. Ethan stared at the flash drive in awe. "Clara, this contains the one missing piece I needed to trigger the complete global purge of Project Whisper forever." Suddenly, the cabin's front windows shattered as high-powered tactical spotlights blinded the room from outside. Loud speakers boomed. "Ethan Vance, come out with your hands up!" Sheriff Reed's voice echoed through the forest. "Give us the drive, Ethan, or neither of you leaves this mountain alive tonight. You have 30 seconds to decide." Ethan plugged the USB drive into his laptop, hit the execute command key, and initiated the destructive purge code. A red counter began counting down 60 seconds on screen. "We need to buy time until the wipe finishes," Ethan yelled over crashing glass. He grabbed an emergency flare, struck it alight, and threw it out the broken window. The blinding red smoke obscured the tactical team's sightlines, causing chaos outside as gunshots blindly peppered the cabin exterior walls in heavy succession. Inside, the laptop screen flashed bright green as the timer hit 0. Across Blackwood, surveillance monitors went black, and servers began permanently corrupting all saved data logs. Suddenly, federal FBI vehicles with sirens blaring roared into the clearing, arresting Sheriff Reed and disarming the rogue tactical team on the spot for illegal covert operations. Federal agents secured the cabin premises, rescuing Clara and Ethan. The massive illegal surveillance program had been completely destroyed, liberating the unwitting residents of Blackwood forever. 6 months later, the town of Blackwood returned to normal, calm life. Sheriff Reed and his co-conspirators were tried and sentenced to federal prison for treason and conspiracy. Clara published a best-selling book recounting their harrowing ordeal, exposing the dark truth behind modern digital surveillance and honoring her brother's fight for privacy rights freedom. Ethan Vance was officially declared a hero, but he chose to vanish once again, living off-grid somewhere in the vast American wilderness, forever free, unseen, and untraceable.